Welcome, everyone. It is Tuesday, April 8th, 2025, and you are in the right place if you're joining the RHA General Membership Meeting. Welcome, neighbors. Welcome, everyone. If you haven't seen the disclaimer already, this meeting is going to be recorded so that we can share it with our neighbors who are not able to join live. And these recordings are placed online on YouTube by our marketing chair, Daryl McLean. So if you would not like to be visually seen on camera when you're speaking, you can go ahead and keep your camera off. But for transparency's sake, we are recording the meeting and placing these recordings online. So our agenda, it has the same format every meeting. We're going to begin by some brief board reports to just let you know what we've been up to and discussing as a board, as individual officers, or in our committee meetings. Then we're going to have one discussion. We have a special guest, All Good Things Cafe, who's going to be telling us about the activation of what was Dovecote Cafe and now is going to be something new, and really excited to hear a little bit more about that. We did have plans for a second discussion with one of our board members. Darnell Schaefer was going to share kind of like a teach and learn about what community solar is. But Darnell's not able to make it tonight, so we're going to be pushing that presentation for another night. And then towards the end, we always leave time for any announcements. So if you have something you want to share for the good of the group, that is your time to shine. And we will also share any additional announcements about events going on in the community. So on to board reports. So the big two items for my past month was one, we voted to move forward with the exploration of a Reservoir Hill CDC steering committee. As you all know, we have been thinking for quite some time on taking the lead on making sure that we had a city-approved neighborhood master plan. We began that work with the Neighborhood Design Center about a year and a half ago, and quickly discovered that shepherding a master plan through the city is a big task that required way more than what we thought it would be. We also have a lot of things that we would like to accomplish within the neighborhood that is way beyond what we can do as volunteers alone. And we recognize that the neighborhood needs a designated CDC that is overseen by the community. So we are seeking financial support from WNADA for an exploration of a neighborhood CDC for that purpose. The CDC will be made up of a steering committee and a steering committee chair that will move us through this process for the next 7 months, with the goal of establishing a CDC that will be a separate yet related entity from RHA in the new year. I'm sure if you have any questions, I'm really happy to answer them, but that's really all we know right now. We're really excited about this. It's a big undertaking. It's taken several years of thinking, working, doing a lot of work in the community to realize that why having a CDC that's operating in the community that's a helpful partner is so necessary for any strong neighborhood in the city. It's something that's kind of foundational to a functioning community in Baltimore City. And so I hope that you understand and support this initiative. And if you're interested in joining the steering committee, or you have some recommendations about how that steering committee could move forward, or if you have any concerns or flags about this initiative, please either state them in the chat, raise your hand, or ask any questions as they come up. Separately, for RHA, we are seeking a treasurer. Chet has, for a long time, said that he would have to step back as a treasurer for RHA because of changes not only at his job, but also with other commitments that he has in his communities. And so he has stood in being a treasurer for much longer than he had anticipated. He was supposed to step down in November, I believe, of last year. He's stuck around until now. And so I think he gave us until May to really find a new treasurer. He's not here tonight because he really does not have the time to devote to this work in the same way that he wants to be able to. If you are someone who is trustworthy, not afraid of numbers, really okay with complete transparency, very clear oversight of the books, and that you would like to be able to volunteer your time to RHA. Through our Ask to Wanata, we are asking for additional support through a bookkeeper and potentially for someone to do financial audits towards the end of the year, which will greatly reduce the amount of energy a treasurer will have to give. But it still requires a lot of work, specifically with our financial oversight and procedure. If that could be you, are you really nerdy and really precise with numbers? This might be your time to shine. If you've never had experience being a treasurer, that's okay. Um, we still can use your help. So if you're willing to give your time, please let us know. We're going to start doing some targeted outreach to people who have indicated their interest in the finance committee. So if you get an email from us, that's where that's coming from. But those are the big two items for me this month. And then in the chat, I see from Daryl, what is a neighborhood master plan and why do we need one? That's a really good question. So a neighborhood master plan is what the city looks to make big decisions about a community. So in 2021, don't quote me with this, but from 1977 to 2021, we were under a urban renewal plan, which made it really clear what you could not build, how you could build in our community, and how we were seeking to develop our community down to how streets would operate, what kind of signs could be in yards. And that kind of expired in 2021. Since then, basically, our neighborhood has operated nearly like the Wild Wild West. A lot of times people ask, why can someone just do something in our neighborhood? And part of that is that we don't have a master plan that's city approved. Almost every neighborhood surrounding us does have one. So Penn North, I believe, has one. Druid Heights has one. Harlem Park has one. Bolton Hill has one. We are actually one of the odd ones out, especially along the West North Avenue corridor that doesn't have a city-approved master plan that basically will articulate what we're hoping for and what we're envisioning for the community. So, for example, one thing the master plan process can resolve for us is when we have really big topics that can't be resolved by one simple meeting. For example, the bike lane conversation. So we've had that's come up quite a few times where the city got federal funding to build a separated bike lane in our community. And it basically didn't move forward because we did not have a stance on it, or at least that's how the city saw it. So some people opposed it, some people supported it, and because there was mixed messaging on how the community felt about bike lanes, there was no resolution. And all the funding that was tied to that project pretty much went up in thin air. So I'm not sure, especially with the current administration, if there is going to be any funding to move forward to build a separated bike lane in our neighborhood. That might be really disappointing to a lot of people in our community. We don't actually know what our community stance is on that. So the master plan process would bring us together at minimum 3 times to make decisions about those big visions for our community, whether it be bike lanes, green spaces, even around how different parts of our neighborhood might handle businesses. So those are the kinds of things that a master plan would help us think through. And what we are hoping in the future is that we can get funding to hire consultants to not only help us think through that process, but to create an actual vision plan or design of what our neighborhood would look like that all of us, no matter if you're part of RHA or not, all feel really happy and supportive of. That plan then would go before the Department of Planning and be hopefully approved by the Department of Planning with full support from the community. So it's a huge undertaking. It would take around a year. And we've been told it takes at minimum $150,000 to move through that kind of process. This process is way beyond what we are capable of doing as volunteers alone. And so that's why we came to the conclusion that developing a CDC that could work us through that process would be the most intelligent way of moving forward. So, any questions about that? That was the longest probably board report that I had, but I'll keep it moving. And if you guys have any further questions, feel free to move that in the chat. I'm going to pass it on to Jerika.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I don't have only one thing to report. On last Thursday at the World Trade Center, there was a event sponsored by WANATA and the Greater Baltimore Black Chamber of Commerce, just outlining the $22 million that WANATA is supposed to be getting to invest in the I guess the West Baltimore corridor of North Avenue. And they had Chad Williams there, who's the executive director of WANATA. Uh, he was there giving just some different ideas of how people can obtain those funds to maybe get some brick and mortar on North Avenue. They had approximately about 250, close to 300 people there in attendance, and it was well received, well attended. Um, they also, and that was that event. And then on May the 15th at the was a CFG Center downtown on May the 15th, they having a MBE night, also giving information about procurement, uh, how to, what else, let me think, how to get some of the certifications that's going to be needed for some small business owners to receive. And so that is going to be from 6 to 8. We're going to send a flyer. There's a flyer that's been put out on social media about that. So if anybody's interested in attending that, we would be glad to see you there as well. I think that's it for me.
Thank you, Jerika. Any questions for Jerika? All right, we'll move forward. Lisa.
Good evening, everyone. I know Melda put a notice in the waiting area, but I just want to reiterate for purpose of attendance, I just want to make sure that if you want to be counted, we'll need your first and last names. We appreciate everybody coming to the meetings because we realize everybody has something to do. But if you could put your first and last name in the or under your profile pic, just to make sure that you're duly counted. And this is important because, you know, we'll be voting on things, and you'll want to have an opportunity to weigh in on, you know, topics that may be important to you and important to the community and the neighborhood. So in order to do that, we need to make sure that you've attended the requisite amount of meetings. And, you know, one way to do that is to make sure that you're counted for your attendance purposes. And so if you could do that, that would be helpful. Again, we appreciate you all being here. I think the first item for me is the attendance and members in good standing. I think the only area that we need to make sure that we've counted everybody is for the November in-person meeting. I think there was an issue because we had folks that were there sign in manually or in writing, and so I want to make sure that if you were at that meeting, that you were counted. And I think that is probably the only date for over the past 12 months that we need to confirm attendance for. And other than that, I think we're good. And at the next meeting, I think we'll be able to produce a list that shows all the members in good standing. The second thing that I need to discuss is the memorandum of understanding between ourselves and St. Francis Neighborhood Center regarding the land swap. I've been working on a memorandum or an MOU of understanding. And basically what that is, we want to ensure that for the community that St. Francis is in compliance with city law on recycling, pickup, trash pickup, disposal, removal, traffic issues. We also want to ensure that they're in compliance with zoning regulations. This is all for the betterment of the neighborhood. We don't create the rules. We just want to see that the rules are followed. And that's, going to promote good, neighborhood relations, not only between ourselves and St. Francis, but for the community as a whole, for the people that are located, right next to it. We just want to ensure that everything is consistent with the statutory authority that the city has established. We want to make sure that the trash is put out in compliance with the regulations. You just can't leave trash out there indefinitely or at the first of the week if pickup is on Thursday. It has to be, you can't just leave a dumpster out there. So we're working to ensure their compliance as a neighbor in our community with city regulations. Again, we don't make the law. We're just asking that they follow it. And so that's what I've been working on and expect to have it completed. We are awaiting certain items from St. Francis, namely that they've contacted the neighbors that are close to them or in close proximity with them to get their feedback, that they've consulted with them as is required by our own policies in terms of making sure that the neighborhood, the neighboring residents, that their opinion is counted and reviewed before. The easiest bed frame you'll ever send. Okay. So that I'm working on that, and hopefully we'll get those last few remaining items so that we can include those in the MOU with St. Francis. And again, it's just to make sure that we have established, just a working relationship that's based on the city's statutory requirements for, again, recycling, trash pickup, removal, the overall cleanliness of the neighborhood, as well as safety concerns that have been raised. The third item is that I am going to head a steering committee for changing the bylaws for our organization. They need to be updated. We're going to tackle issues about attendance, what it constitutes to be a member in good standing. We're going to clarify that. We're going to clarify voting requirements and just a general organization for Reservoir Hill Association. So if you're interested in being part of that committee, please feel free to reach out. I'll put my email in the chat. And again, these are, really important issues. We want to make sure that the organization is running as smoothly as possible and that it's for the benefit of our entire neighborhood. So here's an excellent opportunity for you to weigh in and give your opinion about how we can be a better neighborhood association, and how we can be a better representation or representatives of this wonderful community. So love to have any and all assistance, particularly if you've got some historical perspective on the organization or the neighborhood. And so would love to hear and include anyone that's interested in contributing in that manner. So I think that's all for me. If there are any questions. If not, I'll hand this back to Madam President.
Thank you, Lisa. Like I said, Chet was unable to make it. So this is last month's balance. It's slightly different. It's lower because we've paid a few things for the garden home tour. He'll update that for the website. I don't have those numbers today, but I'll make sure that those are updated and made public for your overview or for your review, not overview. Janae. Oh, yes, Janae is not present. So, Daryl.
Good evening, everyone. Daryl McLean, and I'm filling in for Janae, the events chair. Number one on the list is block ambassador letters. So, what she has done is for those individuals on separate streets that have already expressed interest in the Garden Home Tour, whether as a host of the tour or volunteer, that she is utilizing a list of motivated individuals to send them letters to ask them to be the block ambassadors to help recruit more homes on the tour as well as volunteers. In order to join the tour, please go to the bit.ly address there, bit.ly/tour underscore host underscore form, and you can fill out the form in order to put your house on the tour. As she reminds us, if you are if you want to put a single floor of your home on the tour, if you want to put just a part of your home on the tour, if you are an apartment dweller and you want to be on the tour, we welcome you. Fill out that form and join the tour. If you can't put your house on the tour, you can always volunteer. So we have plenty of volunteer opportunities for the Garden Home Tour. It's a big pool. And we can use as many bodies as we can get. So go to bit.ly/GH Tour volunteers. The next meeting for the Garden Home Tour is the planning meeting Thursday, April the 10th. And I bring a big thank you to those individuals who have been involved thus far in working on the tour. You are very much appreciated, and keep eating your Wheaties and being healthy, because we're going to continue to need you all the way until June the 7th and 8th, the days of the tour. And that is all for the events committee report.
Okay, thank you. Oops. Oh, okay. Green Committee.
Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Darnell, and I'm covering the Green Committee on behalf of myself and Lauren Muhammad. So what we've been discussing lately is trying to organize, support, and grow our Green Committee membership base through surveys and outreach. So we did receive about 6 surveys, and we intend on reaching out to those folks and getting them to help us prepare some of the initiatives we have for the rest of the year. One of those initiatives is beautification of green space. So there's several different lots within the neighborhood that we're looking to either just clean up or enhance with new plants. So that would be a key initiative, and also lend support to White Lot Community Farm. If you've been past there in the past month or two, you've seen a lot of new developments under the leadership of Jen, the new farm manager. So we really want to lend more support to what she's doing to just bring that space back to life and make the community farm just vibrant, beautiful, and effective for our community. Um, Outside of that, we are looking to continue some of the conversations with BG&E. We may follow up with more um, targeted information on specific rebates for energy efficiency for your home, and also things to enhance your indoor air quality. So stay tuned for that. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Darnell. Thank you, Lauren. Daryl.
Marketing chair report. I'll start with the Reservoir Hill towing alert. We are the city has now moved to strictly enforcing parking in the neighborhood for street sweeping. It so please tell your neighbors that they have been saying that they will tow. So get out there in the morning or the night before and do your thing. Grab your space and or get up at the last second and move it to another block. But we our dollars are precious and we do not need to give them away by being towed. The second item, YouTube channel updates, working to backfill the our YouTube channel to get all of our meetings online. Our 2025 meetings are all online, and we're now backfilling 2024. Our third item, a plant swap campaign. So a plant swap will be a part of the Garden Home Tour. And so we have developed a social media campaign around the plant swap. And then we've also, the next item, developed a joint a tour campaign with different marketing for different demographics and different social media channels. So you will see that on RHA social media channels in this week and in the coming weeks. And finally, marketing will be meeting our next meeting is April the 17th. So our next meeting will be a continuation of the April 10th meeting, which is the planning committee. And then the events committee will meet on the 24th, and we will be again talking about the Garden Home Tour. Again, thank you everyone for everything that you've done thus far for the tour, and we will be begging, pleading, cajoling, asking for your help going forward. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Okay, thank you. I always miss your beautiful graphics. Arlen?
Good evening, everyone. I don't have much other than the issue with Tune-Up City. We met with them Monday, the 31st of March, And we discussed the issues with signage, which was removed, the vehicular storage on the premises, which is still a point of contention, and store operations as far as time. There was some talk about moving the time back. I believe they said they closed at 12, and some of the neighbors actually wanted them to possibly push their times back to 10 or 11 o'clock. And the content, as far as the content of the store, the items that are available. I encourage everyone, if you want to make a difference there or have your input there, to support the store. And we will do our damnedest to make sure that they are compliant with the citywide issues and in accordance with the wishes of the neighborhood. That's about all I have.
Thank you, Arlen. I'm going to jump in real quick about PDC. If everyone on the call, if you're noticing that water pouring on Whitelock, like, where would it be? Maybe Whitelock and Brookfield. You'll like go over a speed hump and there's just like water constantly pouring. I've been reporting it to 311. I'm gonna follow up again, but if you notice that, please report it because I'm pretty sure it's a water main leak that's been leaking for well over a month now, probably 2 months. And I'm worried that it's going to cause like a sinkhole or something. I've reported it. I know other neighbors have reported it, but if you do, can you please let Arlen or the board just know so we can forward it on to Councilman Torrance? I have alerted him of the issue, but just sharing that with the community. I don't think I'm the only one that notices that the water, like it's very wet, the street on Whitelock. Rolando, you have?
Is in the vicinity of 914 Whitelock.
Yes. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay.
Yeah.
So I just want you to know that we're all aware of it. It's very odd that they haven't corrected it, but it seems like I mean, it's weird for the city to allow a water main to just leak for well over a month.
Excuse me for a second. It happened before. They did some repair. It just happened again. Okay.
Okay. All right. So sorry to butt in. Rolando, you're up.
All right. Good evening. Rolando Maxwell from Safety and Security. Excuse me. Let me give you the report. I lost it. Yeah. I did not receive the report for Reservoir Hill, but I can give you the report for the Western District, which are the following. Currently, there's no arsenal for last month compared to one. Arsenal for motor vehicles parts, we have 12 compared to 11. Arsenal from auto, we had 17 compared to 19. Shoplifting is 8 compared to 10. Larceny is 37 compared to 48. Auto theft is 33. It haven't changed. It was 33 last month. And burglary is 23 compared to 29. Robbery is 18 compared to 16. Commercial robbery is 2 compared to 0. Carjacking is 2. Haven't changed. It was 2 last month in February. And aggravated assault is 60 compared to 44. Rape is 3 compared to 2. Homicide is 2 compared to 1. It's a total of 217 incidents, and it was 216. And that's basically it.
Thank you. Any questions from the group? And that's for the entire Western District, right?
Yes, that's what the entire Western District.
Okay.
For March.
All right. So our reports went a little long. Sorry for our first presenters. But do we have anyone from All Good Things Cafe present?
Yes.
Hi.
Let me put my camera on. Can you guys see me?
Yes.
Hi, how you guys doing today?
Great. Do
Good.
you are you doing a presentation this evening? Do you
I
need
do have a presentation I can share.
Wonderful. Okay, so I'm gonna make you see, I think I can make you co-host,
Okay.
and then that should give you the privilege to share screen.
Okay, let's do this. 1 second.
And welcome. Thanks for making it. I sent out my invite so last minute this morning. I felt so bad, but I'm
It's
so glad you
okay.
could make time for us this
Oh,
evening.
absolutely. It's not a problem. It's another team member on the line as well.
Hey,
Nay, Coppage, Goodwin.
hi, welcome, Nay.
I am trying to, here we go. There we go. Let's share right here. All right. Let me know when you guys can see my screen. Can you see my screen? Not yet. Here we go.
No, we can't.
Not yet.
Okay. What about now?
Now we can see
Now
it.
we can.
Okay. There we go.
And
Can you see the presentation?
yes. And
Okay, perfect.
someone in the chat asked for you to introduce yourself when you have
Oh,
it.
absolutely, absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Dominique Allen. I am the owner of All Good Things Cafe that is being activated in the old Dovecote space at 2501 Madison Avenue. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to come on, introduce myself, share our grand opening plans and our soft opening plan as well, to keep the community engaged. So I'm not sure if you guys know, but I'm also the owner of Vegan Juiceology, a cold pressed juice brand that was down in Howard Street, alongside Caju Creamery, Vinyl and Pages, and Couples Tea House. So we did close that storefront. So we're doing the activation in the old Dovecote space where we will have the whole cafe vibe, but the juices will be there as well. As we prepare to do our grand opening and our soft openings, I just wanted to take the opportunity to show you guys a presentation of our plan and how we can work together to make sure that when we do the grand opening event, that everyone in the community is aware of what's happening, can get involved and things of that nature. And there's 100% transparency with what we're trying to do for the community. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay, cool. All
Yes.
right, so let me go ahead and start this. There we go. Okay, here we go. So I'm gonna run through this pretty quickly, just to kind of give you guys an idea of our plan, and then of course, there will be time for questions. Okay, so the objective is to explain what we're trying to do, planning and preparation, any permits and logistics that we'll need, vendor entertainment, marketing and community, event day, and then of course, post-event objectives, and then summary and next steps. So these are the objectives, of course, of our grand opening, to officially introduce All Good Things Cafe to the Reservoir Hill community, celebrate Baltimore with Baltimore's creative and food culture by showcasing local artists, vendors, and musicians, engage the community with family-friendly activities, to highlight the cafe as a neighborhood gathering spot, to drive awareness and media attention to build excitement around new business as well as the Reservoir Hill community, and also set the stage for a Juneteenth brunch that we are in the works of planning for the Sunday after the grand opening event. So what planning and preparation looks like on our end, and of course, we'll answer any questions that that you guys may have at the end. One, of course, any permits and logistics. We're trying to get that complete, of course, by the end of this month. When we do our vendor vendor coordination and entertainment coordination. We're planning for that as well. Marketing and community engagement. The marketing and community engagement is going to be the biggest piece because we definitely want the community and the neighbors involved in what we're doing to try to, plan this event for our grand opening and for the community. Next. So this is what the permits and logistics looks like. So we have about 7 items. Of course, get all of the permits that we would need to put on for this event. One, potential street closure. Of course, we would have to apply for a permit through the Maryland Department of Transportation. Secure an event permit from the city. Food service permit will be required for any vendors. If we're serving alcohol, of course, a 1-day alcohol permit, a security plan, parking and traffic control, and then waste management to make sure that the community is left spotless after the event. We're looking to do vendor and entertainment options as well. So we're looking for creative vendors, live music and entertainment, family-friendly activities, have 5 to 7 food vendors outside of the cafe, and then of course any local media influencers and social media campaigns as well. As far as marketing and community engagement, of course, community outreach, work with the Reservoir Hill Association to stay in a loop of, what we're doing logistically, distribute flyers, emails to kind of get the word out there. Of course, we would start a 12-week countdown for a social media and digital campaign with hashtags, any influencer collaborations, and then, of course, sponsorships and partnerships with local businesses as well. Post-event, we're looking for social media recaps where we can highlight how the event went, community engagement, and things of that nature. Of course, and thank you emails to everyone who participated in the event. And then, of course, us on the All Good Things Cafe side, we would definitely do a post-event debrief and gather feedback from the team so we'll know how to do future events. If there's any pros or cons with this particular event, we can kind of navigate through those things. And then lastly, for next steps is get the permits, secure vendors, complete our marketing for step number 1. Step number 2, execute press and marketing, logistics, and then of course 3 would be the grand opening the Saturday after Juneteenth, which would be June 21st, 2025. And that's it. If anyone have any questions, concerns, input, feedback, or anything of that nature, Nay and I can definitely answer those questions for you.
Okay, thank you. So basically, just to sum it up, it sounds like you're seeking input about your grand opening, which is going to take place over the Juneteenth weekend. And there's going to be a block celebration that you're planning for that, and you're seeking input from the community about how to execute that. As far as permits and making sure all the neighbors are on board and supportive.
Yeah,
of the
that's
event.
the biggest part, the neighborhood support, because we don't want to do anything that, the neighborhood doesn't want or anything of that nature. So we definitely want to have full transparency with you guys to make sure that we are doing things for the community, that the neighbors are okay with what we're doing, and just to keep building that relationship. So that's why I wanted to do this presentation so you guys are fully aware of what our plan is and how we can work together to make it happen.
That's great. And I see Mike's hand up. But the first thing that came to mind, and I'll call on you, Mike, and then Jerika, I see you. The first thing I want to flag for you is that there's also an Upper Utah Madison Neighborhood Association that I think it would be really beneficial for you to join their meeting as well.
Okay.
Arlen, who presented earlier from the PDC, is also the president of the Upper Utah Madison Neighborhood Association. And you would get a larger concentration of people that live on the Western or on Madison, which is who you're trying to reach out to. So I just want to make sure you're aware of that. They meet, I always say this wrong, the fourth Monday. That's not right, is it?
Third
I have
Third Wednesday.
Third
the
Wednesday.
third Wednesday. Sorry, the third Wednesday of every month. And they also meet online via Zoom. And you can see their meeting link on our website.
Okay.
But and y'all can talk, of course, about
Okay.
but one thing that I would want to flag for you, actually just recently spoke to some neighbors on Madison about their joint sadness that the Juneteenth celebration no longer occurred on Madison, but also of their what happened the last time this occurred, and there was a street closure request that because now I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth because I don't live on Madison, but I'm just passing this on as like, to be helpful.
Mhm.
What I understood from what they shared with me is the last time that Juneteenth occurred, there was a miscommunication, and some people thought there was a road closure on their street. There wasn't actually, and it caused a lot of drama, and people were very upset. However, folks that are on the same block of Dovecote seem to really look forward to the street closure because they do a block party. Like they look at it as a block party for the Madison corridor. So I just wanted to share that because I know there was some conflict around it because Madison is a throughway for the park. And so, there was some concern about that. So it's a mixed issue to the point where it's probably going to be a door to door on whatever block you're planning to close, or for the
Mhm.
entirety of Madison, it's definitely going to require a door to door.
Okay.
Make sure everyone knows, but I just want you to know that a lot of people are super supportive.
Okay.
Sometimes people that don't feel great about it are the most vocal, but I just want you to know.
Okay.
I literally spoke to neighbors who were like, I'm so sad that doesn't happen anymore, but we're gonna hang out on our porches anyway, because
Yeah.
this is our tradition. So
Yeah.
just sharing my that was like my immediate thought.
Okay.
Mike Cross Barnett.
Hi, yeah, thanks, Keandra. Yeah, my name is Mike. I live at 2516 Madison, across from uh, Dovecote. I'm super excited about this, Dominique. We've talked a couple times, I
Yeah.
think, and really excited to have you in the neighborhood and wish you like all the success in the world. My question is about the date of the grand opening being
Mhm.
June 21st. My understanding is that AFRAM will be June 21st and 22nd this year. That event always has a huge impact on our neighborhood with, parking being pretty much impossible in our neighborhood and frankly, people parking in our alleys and our driveways and so on. And you know, it's a great event, but a very chaotic scene for Reservoir Hill. And I just was wondering how you were thinking about having sort of layering your event on top of what is already going to be like a big, busy, loud, and chaotic time for people on Madison Avenue.
Yeah, so great question. That's where the logistics is going to have to come into play, where we actually work one with the city to try to get these streets closed off to make sure that um the block that we're trying to close is kind of insulated from that. So when I did the block party at down on Howard Street, we weren't able to close the street because the light rail runs that way. But I was able to get a permit to kind of have no parking on that block. So is this about getting the proper permits, working with the Department of Transportation to put signs up a couple of days before, say, hey, no parking in this block for such amount of days. So it would be probably from maybe like the night before to the morning of, because if we do have the vendors there, they would have to load in, set up, and things of that nature. So that is a seamless process. So it literally comes down to logistics and working with the Department of Transportation to make sure we have the proper permits in place to do what we're trying to do. So that's very important for us.
Okay. Was that an answer to your question, Mike? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I think I just like I want this to be very successful, and I know like the city has sensitivities around issuing permits
Mhm.
on the same date as like major festivals such as AFRAM and the Caribbean Festival and things like that. So
Okay.
just it's a just kind of a caution and but like I think you're obviously thinking about these things, and I'm sure
Yeah,
you'll get it done.
we'll definitely have that conversation, with them and whomever else that I need to have the conversation with to say, hey, does this make sense? Like, can we, you know what I mean? Just so that
And I
we're doing
also noticed
things
that
by the book as well.
Councilman Torrance is actually on this call and might have something to say
Yes.
about this too.
I'm sure. Yes. Thanks,
Mhm.
Mike. Jarika?
Hi, and welcome. My only really concern is listening to you, you said, I guess throughout some of you will have events, throughout the time of musicians and stuff like that. I just wanted to make sure that you're just cognizant of that, having that, because I know we had uh, when Defco was there, we had some situations when people had come in with music and stuff, and they weren't just respectful of the neighborhood and the noise and stuff like that. So I just want you to just kind of keep that in the back of your mind of just being very cognitive of, whatever music or whatever you're going to have is conducive to the neighborhood and ensuring that they are on board with it, because we just don't want what happened the last time. That's all.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Thank you for pointing that out.
No problem.
Thank you so much, Jarika. Councilman Torrance?
Afternoon, all happy to connect, sir, with DOT. We are finalizing the plans for AFRA, and we just had the announcement today about the things that are happening. Right now, DOT is coming up with a traffic mitigation plan to ensure that we do not back up 83 north or south for people, but we also are working with Mondawmin to do parking rides so that people are not parking in neighborhoods, but I'm happy to facilitate that conversation with DOT.
Thank you, Councilman Torrance. Yeah, Patti LaBelle, Juvenile, and Saweetie. It's a big lineup this year. So
Don't forget A. Marie. A. Marie.
Avery too. Okay, so it's going to be a really popular weekend. So yeah, I think to everyone's point, the earlier you can communicate with neighbors, I think what happened last time, if I recall correctly now, okay, if I recall correctly, is they went through the proper city process.
Okay.
But the city process meant that neighbors weren't informed until a few days before they couldn't park, and then it caused an uproar or something.
Oh, yeah, we would definitely let you guys know. That's the point. That's why I really wanted to do this presentation. Like, we're about 2 months out. So I really wanted to be super transparent with everyone, to let them know what we're planning to do and how we're planning to execute it. So we don't want the last minute drawdown of, oh my goodness, I can't park in front of my door. So yeah, we'll definitely make sure that those logistics in our plan, once we finalize the plan, is I can give it to you if you like, and the other association as well, to be 100% transparent about what we're doing, so we don't
Yeah.
have those kinds of issues.
Yeah, just a heads up, you would need a letter of support from Upper Utah Madison or RHA in terms of like sound amplification.
Okay.
The last time there was one that was received that did not consult with neighbors about sound amplification, and then the changes to the application after submission were to close the road. That was not even. I'll put it this way. There's a conversation that needs to be had because we were not allowing anyone at that address to have any street closures or permits. So, because of what happened last time, so I would say this is a good thing to flag with DOT and the permits office for special
Okay.
events.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you, James.
Yeah, so thank you for coming early so that we resolve all of these things and
Yeah,
be as transparent as possible. No,
absolutely.
does anyone have any other questions, comments, especially folks along Madison? because we want to make sure that as we talk to our neighbors and share this information with others, that we're sharing the right information. So anyone that lives on Madison, especially, Arlen.
Hello, Dominic. We've met before. I stopped by the
Yes.
shop.
How are
Yeah,
you?
I'm doing well. I'll do
Good.
whatever we can to facilitate this to make sure it goes smoothly and within
Okay.
the confines of the law and
Yes.
to avoid those issues. So maybe I'll stop by and make sure that you're on board for the next meeting on the third Wednesday.
Okay. The 16th, correct? That would
Yeah,
be
7 p.m.
okay. The
Okay,
16th. And what time does that meeting usually start? About 7 o'clock too?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Okay, perfect.
All right.
Okay, and we'll also release our soft opening date. We're just we had to there were some things beyond our control that we had to deal with at the cafe. And we're just waiting on the health department permit. So that's the only permit that we need to go ahead and get taken care of. And we're looking to hopefully get that approved by Monday or Tuesday of next week. So once we get that final approval, we'll definitely have a soft opening date that will we have our full menu together already, but the soft opening date will be a limited menu. But we'll definitely post those details, share it with you guys so you all know like what's coming down the pipe. Because I know everyone is excited to walk down the street to get their morning coffee, their teas, their breakfast sandwiches, and things of that nature. So we'll definitely keep you guys abreast of that. Oh, and one more thing. I had the bright idea today while I was working that I know that we did something at the cafe during Halloween, and I know Easter is coming up. So I had the bright idea to kind of do like a little Easter egg hunt for the kids in the community, if that's something that we can get out there. I know it's, within the next 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks, but that's something that we could definitely do on Easter Sunday, probably kind of like after church hours in the early afternoon. So that's something that we'll definitely post up on social media to get everyone engaged.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And yes, we are beyond excited to see you open your doors officially.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, beyond excited to support you. Nay.
Hi, good evening, everyone. How are you doing today?
Good. Good.
I am a part of the All Goods team. And I just wanted to come past and just share a couple of um, good things with everyone. Dominique and our team, we're very adamant about connecting with the community and redeeming our predecessors to be more involved, and we want we want it to be smooth. We're here to build community. We would like for All Good Things Cafe to be a cultural hub for Reservoir Hill where you can come co-work. You're always going to be greeted with a smile and respect, and we're here to just develop and have a good time as a community. And I want to thank everyone for accepting us with open arms for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely welcome. We don't have a ton of spaces in Reservoir Hill to walk to sit with friends and neighbors and have a cup of coffee. So it's been a missed space. We really look forward to opening for sure. I know that's a feeling across the entire neighborhood. Any final thoughts, comments to share with the group about All Good Things? Yes.
One more thing, sorry. If there's anything you would like to see at the cafe in that space for the community, just shoot us an email, any suggestions or anything of that nature. If anyone wants to host an event, in-person community meetings, whatever you want, like just shoot us an email and we'll work with it. That's all I
Is your
have. Thank
email
you
in the
guys for
chat?
having us. What did you say?
Is your email in the chat?
It is not, but we can put it in the chat. I'm doing it right now. So it's just hello at allgoodthingscafe.com.
And where did the name All Good Things come from?
Well, Larry and I, so Larry, I'm pretty sure some of you guys have seen Larry working in the cafe. He's going to be the manager. He pretty much ran vegan juiceology for me when I couldn't physically be there. And so one day I was like, we need a place that has, because I don't eat meat. So I was like, we need a place that has like vegan, vegetarian food, like coffee, teas. I was like, just all good things. Like, we just want all the good things just to be in one spot. And that's how All Good Things Cafe came about. It's literally out of a conversation inside of Vegan Juiceology down on Howard Street that All Good Things came to life. And it's true for life in general. Like, I feel like we're in a point in time where we just need all the good energy, all the good vibes around us, where like, let's just have all this good energy like in one space and we can just kind of spread it out through the community. So yeah. Oh, that's it. There we
Beautiful.
go. I just put that in the chat. Yeah, it's in the chat now, so I think you guys should be able to see it.
Not yet. Oh, there it is. Yes.
There we go. Okay.
Thank you. And thank
You're
you so
very
much
welcome.
for your patience.
Oh yeah, no
Really
problem.
enjoyed, on a short notice today.
No problem.
As you can see, a lot of people wanted to hear from you and was interested in that. And for all the folks who are on Madison, if you can talk to a neighbor, share what All Good Things is planning for Juneteenth so we can spread the word. I know there's going to be more information to come, but sometimes this is the kind of information that you should hear from a neighbor. So if each one can just tell someone else, that could go a long way to getting the word out about the proposed street closure. And of course, we will defer to Upper Utah Madison Neighborhood Association on how we want to proceed with a letter of support. We have a very specific process for how we do letters of support, which is to literally knock on the door of every affected neighbor. So we would need to know the addresses that would be impacted so we could figure out how we would do that outreach and make sure that everyone is, or the majority at least, of people are in support on that block for us to then go forward with a letter of support for your permit. Upper Utah Madison might do something slightly different. I'm not 100% positive, but we are limited. We're a small group of people who come to these meetings and do this work. So we are obviously super happy to work with Upper Utah Madison to help with that process. So, but we will defer to Upper Utah Madison on how you all want to proceed with that. But we can point you to our letter of support process to be really clear with how we do that. But Arlen, I think, does that make sense for the folks from Upper Utah on the call that that would be the right way to move? Cool. Yay. All right. So if that's all, any announcements for the good of the group? We don't have any other presentations tonight. Is there anyone on the call that needs to share anything or would like to um, make an announcement for the good of the group?
Hey, Keandra, how you doing? It's Eric Johnson. You hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
My apologies. I'm driving, so if you hear something in the background, that's just me driving. But I just wanted to say, hey, welcome to the neighborhood, to All Good Things Cafe. I'm excited to hear about that. Giving some more options out here. Wanted to give the kudos to that, however we can support. But also, I wanted to share, we took a lot of that feedback from planning and development community, and we sent out a link, some updates on there. So sent it to you if you're able to share with the neighborhood, the neighbors, and everyone as well. We would love to continue to hear some more feedback. And we got some more progress pictures of everything as well, with everything that's going on with the Tune Up City project. So looking forward to more feedback and collaboration as well. So anything anybody can share that help us keep things organized, and we'll post updates pretty regularly on that site.
Thank you so much,
Can you send me
Eric.
that link? Because I didn't get that, and I can send it out.
I can resend it. I sent it to the board of directors email.
Oh, okay. That's why I didn't get it. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Fine.
Wasn't sure, and I think Keandra, you may be on that too as well. So let me know if you didn't get it. I can resend it.
No, we definitely got it. And I'm going to forward it. It's okay for us to just post that link in the chat.
Yes, that is fine. When you go in there, there is a survey to just ask information and get feedback there. Then it will take you to the actual website with ongoing progress, photos, and a little bit about what we're trying to accomplish with that project. So appreciate everybody's patience. It's been a labor of love, but we're working on it.
Thank you, Eric. I went ahead and put the link to 701 Whitelock Street. You might see that in the chat if you want to take the survey and see the presentation that Eric shared with us. And I will email that to you, Melda, so you have it as well. Sorry. So just so everyone knows, if you email board at, it just literally goes to the board of directors. But if you email contact, it goes to the board of directors and Melda. So if you want a wider reach, you can email contact and everyone gets it. And Melda is really great about sharing things and keeping on top of that kind of stuff. And so if you want more bang for your buck, I recommend sending it to contact, honestly, unless it's a like very strictly a board issue. Daryl.
St. Francis ribbon cutting, April the 26th at 10 a.m. And their homecoming party is also April the 26th at 6 p.m. Special guest Dan Rodericks. Join us for a spirited night of comfort foods by top Baltimore chefs, cocktails, exciting raffles, and silent auction prizes, music and dancing with DJ TNT, and community pride as we fundraise for our future. That is St. Francis homecoming, ribbon cutting at 10 a.m. and their homecoming at 6 p.m. That's all.
Thank you. And I'm like eagerly trying to look up one more thing because I know that Betham is having a concert. And I'm trying to pull up this information. I don't remember what day it is. May 18th at 3 p.m. Our doors open showtime at 4 p.m. And there's a community reception and a concert to celebrate the 50 years of Betham Synagogue, of being a congregation and an active member of the community. So there is a registration link, which I'll also put in the chat for that. If you would like to attend or learn more about that upcoming concert in May. Okay. Anything else for the good of the group? All right. I don't think anyone's mad about getting off the call a little early. The evening is still young-ish, even though night has fallen. If you want to do your evening stroll, now is your time. Thank you so much for staying on the call. Thanks to All Good Things for joining. Thanks to Councilman Torrance's office and Councilman Torrance himself for joining the call, and for everyone that came to share information and just join in community. As it's been said, as times are getting really tough, it's really good to know that we have such good neighbors. And I appreciate every single one of you on the call who I've spoken to, shared stories with, gotten support from. And I know that the feeling is mutual. It's so wonderful to be a resident of Reservoir Hill. And thank you for making this neighborhood such a wonderful place to live. I hope you all have a really good evening and be well. Good night.
Good night.